Finding a dumb phone that just does the basics isn't as easy to find as it used to be. Most phones have too many things that you may not even want, so I sorted through tons of products, compared countless reviews, and found the best dumb phones. And if you find something you like, I'll leave links to all the dumb phones in the description below. First up is the Lively Jitterbug Flip 2, which I ranked as the best for seniors. And if you've ever watched someone struggle with a modern smartphone, then this phone's gonna be a lifesaver. It has massive buttons, a loud speaker, and a bright and easy to read screen. You can actually see the numbers clearly without squinting or holding it at a strange angle. And everything is just simple to use. The menu is clean, navigation is straightforward, and the voice commands actually work. You can say call Margaret and it starts calling Margaret. And there's also an emergency button on the back that instantly connects you to help if anything goes wrong. And that one feature alone gives real peace of mind, not just for the person using it, but for their family too. Now the sound quality isn't too bad either, it's actually kind of impressive. It's hearing aid compatible and the clarity on calls feels better than a lot of budget smartphones, so you don't need to yell or repeat yourself constantly. So if you're after something simple, then this dumb phone won't disappoint. Next up is the Cat S22 Flip, which I ranked as the best rugged phone. And this one's built for anyone who needs something compact that can survive the harshest conditions. And unlike most flip phones, the S22 runs on Android 11, so you still get access to apps and modern features in classic flip design. Now the 2.8-inch touchscreen might be small, but it's still sharp enough at 480 by 680 resolution for texting, navigation, and running lightweight apps. And there's also a 5-megapixel rear camera for some quick shots, and a 2-megapixel front camera for video calls when you need them. Now the specs aren't flashy with 2GB of RAM and 16GB of storage, but they handle everything this phone is meant to do. And you can even add a microSD card for some more space. But where it really stands out is its durability. It has an IP68 rating, which means it's waterproof, dustproof, and even drop-proof. So if you're working at construction sites, spending time outdoors, or just need something that won't break easily, then this phone is a no-brainer. Up next is the Nokia 2780 Flip, which I ranked as the best flip phone. And it keeps things simple with a 2.7-inch main screen and a smaller 1.77-inch outside display, so you can glance at the time or caller ID without flipping it open. Now inside you get 512 megabytes of RAM and 4 gigabytes of storage, plus you can add a microSD card up to 32 gigabytes. And you can even use apps like YouTube, WhatsApp, and Google Maps. Now the 5-megapixel camera won't blow you away, but it works just fine for photos when you need them. And what makes this phone stand out is the practical stuff. You get 4G LTE with Volt, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and a GPS, which is way more than those older flip phones ever offered. Plus it has an emergency button, FM radio, and works for hearing aids. So if you love the reliability of flip phones, then you won't regret getting this one. Next up is the Punked MP02, which I ranked as the best for button lovers, and this is minimalism at its best. You get a 2-inch monochrome screen and a clean keypad that makes calling and texting feel simple again. There's no social media, there's no app store, and there's no endless notifications, just what you actually need. And privacy is a huge focus here. It runs on Apostrophe OS, which is designed to protect your data. Plus it integrates the Signal protocol, so your calls and texts are encrypted automatically. Specs include a Qualcomm Snapdragon 210 processor, 2 gigabytes of RAM, and 16 gigabytes of storage. So again, nothing flashy, but it handles what it's built for. And now the build quality is where things change a little bit. It still feels solid, and there's even reinforced glass fiber, which gives it a premium feel, and it's small enough to use with one hand. Now battery life is strong with up to 4.2 hours of talk time and 180 hours on standby. So if you want a break from your smartphone distractions and still need reliable calling and secure messaging, then you can't go wrong with this one. Up next is the Light Phone 3, which I ranked as the best for minimalists. And it looks modern, feels premium, and only handles what you really need. The screen is a 3.9-inch OLED display that's crisp and easy on the eyes, and the build feels solid too, more like a designer gadget than just a basic phone. And even though it's minimalist, it still supports 5G, so it's not outdated. Now the interface is clean and snappy, and the physical buttons on the side give it a tactile, intentional feel when you use it. But what really sets this phone apart is how peaceful it feels. You turn it on, do what you want, and then get back to living your life. Even the grayscale UI helps you stay focused without distractions. So if you're tired of feeling like your phone controls you, then the Light Phone 3 might be exactly what you need. Next up is the Punked MCO2, which I ranked as the best value minimalist phone. And at its core, the MCO2 keeps that same distraction-free philosophy. No app overload, no endless notifications, just what matters. But instead of the tiny screen and buttons, you get a 6.7-inch touchscreen that makes calling, texting, and navigating feel way smoother. But of course, privacy is still front and center. It runs on Apostrophe OS, which focuses hard on that security. And your calls and messages stay encrypted, and all your personal data is secured and stored in Switzerland. Plus, it offers intuitive permission controls for every app, giving you real control over your data. Specs include 5G and 4G LTE, a 64 megapixel camera, 4K video, 128 gigabytes of storage, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and a built-in VPN. So you're getting that high-end stuff without the overload of smartphones. And battery life lasts through a normal day, though it won't stretch multiple days. So if you want punked privacy and simplicity but don't want to go back to the physical buttons, then the MCO2 is the right choice. Up next is the Medita Compact, which I ranked as the best e-ink display. And this one's different. It's not just a phone, it's built around the idea of mindful tech. Now, the Medita Compact helps you use your phone with intention instead of letting it control you. The design is clean and minimalist with a 4.3-inch e-ink display, and that's the same type of screen used on e-readers. It's easy on your eyes, visible in sunlight, and barely uses any power. And because of that, the battery lasts for days. It runs on Medita OS K, which is a de-Googled privacy-first system, and that means it doesn't track you, log your activity, or sell your data. It's all about being private, peaceful, and functional. You get the essentials like call, text, calendar, notes, music, and hotspot capabilities, but nothing extra to distract you. And there's even a physical switch on the side that lets you cut off GSM and Bluetooth instantly, turning it into a pure offline device when you need a real break. Next up is the Unihertz Jelly Star, which I ranked as the most compact. And this one's perfect for anyone who wants a super tiny phone that still runs full Android. And at first glance, this kind of looks like a toy. The 3-inch display and body are about the size of a credit card, but don't let that fool you. This thing's surprisingly capable. Under the hood, it runs Android 13 with MediaTek Helio G99 processor, 8GB of RAM, and 256GB of storage. And for something this small, those specs are impressive. Now the camera setup is solid too. You get a 48 megapixel rear camera and an 8 megapixel front camera, which is way more than you'd expect. Now it won't beat a flagship in low light, but for some quick photos and video calls, it works just fine. And you also get extra features that other phones on this list don't offer, such as dual SIM support, NFC, a fingerprint sensor, and a 3.5mm headphone jack. And all that is packed into a phone that weighs under 120 grams. And one quirky feature is the transparent back with customizable LED lights, which gives it some personality that most minimalist phones don't have. But what makes the Jelly Star really stand out is the balance. It's incredibly small, but it's still functional enough to handle apps like WhatsApp, Google Maps, or Spotify without any issues. So if you're after the tiniest Android phone that can actually do everything you need, then this one will do the trick. Up next is the Wise Phone 2, which I ranked as the best hybrid. Now the design looks clean and modern, almost like a smartphone that decided to slow down. You get a bright 6.5-inch display with smooth edges and a simple interface that feels calm right when you unlock it. There's no clutter, no icons demanding your attention, and it runs on a privacy-focused operating system with built-in tools like phone, text, camera, maps, and notes. Everything's designed to keep you connected without the distractions. Plus, it has a 50 megapixel rear camera that actually takes decent shots, which is rare for phones like this. But what stands out is how intentional everything feels. The menus are minimal, the animations are smooth, and you never feel rushed. It's almost meditative in how it works. So if you want to cut back on screen time but still need to handle the basics, this hits that sweet spot. Finally, at number 1 is the TCL Classic, which I ranked as the best overall. If you've been missing that satisfying snap of closing a flip phone after a call, then this one's for you. The TCL Classic is a modern take on the old school flip phone, but it's built better, lasts longer, and feels way more premium than you would expect. And you get 2 screens here. A 2.inch internal display for your main use, and a smaller outer screen that you can check the time or see who's calling without flipping it open. Now the physical buttons are big here, and they're clicky, which makes typing easy, and the interface is simple. But what really stands out is how reliable it feels. You press a button and it responds right away. It runs on 4G LTE, so you get crystal clear calls and stable connectivity wherever you go. Now the audio is surprisingly loud too, so you won't miss your ringtone even if your phone's buried in a bag or a purse. Plus it has a removable battery, which is rare these days, so now you can carry a spare and swap it out on the go instead of searching for a charger. And that's all for today. I hope this list helped you choose the perfect dumb phone. And if you find something you like, don't forget to check the description to find links of all the dumb phones mentioned in this video. Thanks for watching.